Hey guys, welcome along to another episode of Double Tap. Today, it's all about you.
Me?
No, not you.
This is Double Tap, where blind people talk tech. Here's Stephen Scott and Shaun Preece.
Oh, yeah, please clear your throats before you start, will you?
You know what? I just couldn't be bothered to reach for the mute button. What can I say?
That's shocking.
I'm keeping it real. 100% here on Double Tap, don't you know?
Yeah.
Is that what they used to say?
You know, have you heard Reflections, the new show I was telling you about the other day on AMI Audio?
Isn't it professional sounding?
It sounds good. I mean, and I don't mean that to be patronising, because I absolutely know that it does not sound patronising. No, it doesn't. It's not patronising. I think it's brilliant. I just wonder what they must think when they hear this start.
Yeah.
The exact opposite of whatever you think of Reflections, I would imagine.
It's an amazing show. Check it out on AMI Audio. Reflections.
Also available on AMI Plus.
It's a proper show.
It's a proper show, honest.
Yeah. I've got to say, I'm tired, Stephen Scott. I do apologise for clearing my throat without muting, but I you know what? I'm tired. I don't know what's the matter with me. I think it's my new gym lifestyle. You know, pumping that steel, falling over things, it's difficult. But I'm trying my best.
Sorry, okay, remind us how long you've been going at this?
4 days, I think, now.
Do you know what? That's, 4 days. Do you know what? For that, I'm going to give you a clap. I'm going to say, well done.
Thank you.
Because I'll tell you, it's 4 days longer than I've been doing it.
You know what? I'm actually enjoying it. I hate to say, I am going to turn into one of those people.
Oh, God, I hate
it. It
those
is quite
people.
fun. Especially, going to town on that punch ball. It's actually good. It's a bit hard work, because last time I used it, I could see it. Now I can, and it does hit back quite often. But it's still fun.
Who exactly is in your mind's eye when you're punching that ball? I'm just wondering.
No one. No one Scottish whatsoever. What do you mean? My tartan punch ball? No, it's fine.
Does it sing, I don't know, I belong to Glasgow as it punches back?
Freedom now and again.
Oh, I see, yeah. Freedom!
I just give it a quick right-hander and it's fine again.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I think my wife's got one of those in the house as well.
It's called you.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, yeah. Exactly. Why buy accessories? You get the real thing. No, do you know, I am not one of those people. Do you know, I can't. The other one that gets me are people who journal. You know, there's people, and I don't mind. Look, if you want to journal, that's fine. If you like journaling, that's good for you.
Whoa. Journal? Do you mean keeping a diary?
Well, they used to say that.
Proper name, yes.
They used to say keep a diary, but now it's journaling. Look, again, I have no issue with people journaling. I know there's lots of people who do it. I know people who do it.
Apparently you do,
but the people I don't like who do it are the ones who tell you they do it. And they don't tell you they do it, they tell you they do it. You know those kind of people, they go, oh yeah, I'm up in the morning and the first thing I do is I journal about how grateful I am about the world and how wonderful everything is and I'm so great.
In that voice.
And exactly in that voice. And, then they tell you about how they, run up and down the stairs 15 times a day.
Oh, this is just jealousy, Stephen Scott. We're bitter and twisted people. I've got nothing of interest to write down.
Look, again, no issue with people journaling. If you want to do that, good for you. Just don't go on about it. No one cares.
Okay. All right. Wow, what a start to the show. Just bitter and envy.
I will say, though, and it's funny, right? Because as much as I say all this, that journal app, now it's on the Mac, I'm kind of like, okay. I don't know what I'd put in
journaling?
Wouldn't that be hilarious?
So, don't tell me about it.
2 weeks' time, I'm going to be like, do you know what I'm doing now? I'm journaling. I love journaling. That's all I do.
It just helps me organise my thoughts. It just makes me feel so much better.
I kind of want to do it, but I just don't.
Why?
I have nothing to say. And also, I get to the end of the day, I can barely get through a podcast.
Do you know what? We should both stop saying we've got nothing to say when we do a daily talk show.
I know. We do a fantastic job when we have nothing to say, I'll tell you that.
God bless you, Mr. F.
Look, shall we get some emails on? Because that's what we're here about. That's what it's all about, isn't it?
Yes.
I haven't even got words to form, it would appear.
I noticed, yes. People with something to say, our listeners.
Yeah, exactly. Email. Goodness.
We get email.
So
we
sorry.
Get your email every day.
Oh, you're cleaning a throat again.
No, that was my bing bong. Oh. Oosh.
So no ding dong, instead a throat clear, and
Well, yeah, but I did it in the ding dong, bing bong style, so it would have gone unnoticed if you hadn't brought it up and journaled about it.
I'm going to journal about it. I'm going to say, I bet you Dean in New Zealand journals about you.
God bless you, Dean. I love you.
Right, let's get to Joel, who I have to say, I've heard this email, and I think that Joel's tongue is firmly in his cheek while he's speaking here. But Laura reads this one.
Hi, Stephen, Shaun, Laura. Last week, first week of August, had quite a lot of Braille talk. I think it was mostly about why Stephen hates Braille and thinks no one should be bothering learning it. Okay,
True.
quickly before Stephen's watch alarms on his heart rate, I kid. It was the nuance I appreciated. I agree with Stephen, and I suspect most people do, that Braille is a valuable and relevant skill, but let's not lord it over other skills, e.g. screen reader proficiency. Though that lauding might be a straw man from an ardent, well-meaning minority of Braille activists. Losing my sight at 50, I jumped directly into screen readers and am now kind of getting into Braille. Screen readers enabled me to get back to work. I think Braille can make me more efficient in some ways. Speaking of learning Braille, I've started a site with some basic references for Grade 1, UEB. The site is braille.codes. I've written some on the About page about my motivations and perspective. I won't drone on here with the same information. The About page also has very high-level details about how the site is developed and hosted, maybe mostly for Shaun. I'm writing this in large part to get feedback. There's also a section on the About page regarding future plans. There's a GitHub project, LibLewis, with hundreds of tables with Braille codes for many languages and domains, e.g. maths. If there's a lot of interest in a reference site like this, I might write some code to extract those tables into HTML to publish on braille.codes.
Ooh.
I'm not looking for free advertising. This is all open source and I don't envision monetizing it. I'm mainly trying to decide if I want to put more effort into this. I still need to finish the Android session. After that, I think it will be as much as I need. I'm happy to keep developing it though, if it would be useful to others. I'd love to hear feedback from double tappers. Though if Dean in New Zealand thinks it sucks, well, it was all Shaun's idea. Cheers, Joel.
Oh,
Timing.
I know. Poor Dean's getting it in the neck today. Sorry, Dean.
Well, I've got to say, good work. I just checked it out, and yes, it's still there. Braille.codes. Yeah, very good. Look, it's always great to have another resource out there.
Of course it is, yeah. And, it sounds like a very useful resource. I think, you're right. I mean, there's a lot of talk, and I kind of get it. I do, and I have my calmer moments. Is that how I say it, Shaun? Calmer,
yes.
Calmer moments. Yeah. I can't speak properly anymore because of you. I'm so conscious of my words. It's ridiculous.
Okay.
Calmer moments. In those, quieter moments. When I sit there and I reflect on things I've said on this program, many probably could get me hung. But, the thing is, I think that despite the talk of Braille being the savior of everything when it comes to blindness, as some like to do, I think that for those people, of course, it is the savior for them. It's been a big deal for them. But I do think we have to create a little bit of nuance around this. We have to explain perhaps the nuance around this, that yes, absolutely Braille is good, but it's not for everybody. And even for those people who have learned at a very young age, we've spoken to many people now, and it surprises me that they kind of creep out a little bit and say, yeah, I'm one of those people too. I learned Braille as a kid, don't use it anymore. And I feel bad about that, but I just don't. I would much rather use my screen reader and more proficient and efficient with it. So I think it's not a lie to say that Braille is important, and of course it's hugely vital for a lot of people, but it's not the only tool you need. It's not like if you don't have Braille, you can't succeed in life. And that's the message I like to get out there. Because I sometimes think this idea that when people talk about Braille leads to success, I think it gives the idea that you need Braille in order to be successful. And I don't think that's true. Braille can help you become successful, no doubt. Because, especially if you want to get into the worlds of law or whatever else, these occupations require you to be reading lots of different documents. But that's not to say that you couldn't become a lawyer without Braille. And I think it's more to say that.
That's what I wanted to pick you up on, because we almost trip that out like it's law, funnily enough.
Yeah.
That, you can... certain professions or certain educational routes are not possible unless you learn Braille or proficient in Braille. I'm not sure that's the truth anymore. It used to be the only way to access certain documents was through getting them put to Braille. But a lot of documents are now digital, and a screen reader is fine. I just find it slightly, I don't know what the word is. I don't want to say depressing that we're still having this conversation now, because it should be whatever works for you. It's like some people that say, I've spoken to, admittedly, fewer and fewer people, but that say, I don't want a smartphone. Okay, I use what I use now and it works for me. And I can say, but this makes it so much easier and you're missing out on this and that. But whatever works for them works for them. And I understand that. You can't force people into this is the best way, because it might not be at the end of the day.
And why would you want to, right? I mean, I think the classic example of that is our conversations we've had over the years, going back 10, even 15 years, around the Victor Reader Stream. Where we've said many times, we've both said, but there's apps you can get on your smartphone. Mm-hmm. True, yes, you can, but also, it's about having access to something, perhaps in private, perhaps at night. You just want to put a book on, you want to listen to a podcast, you don't want endless notifications, you don't want to have your phone on, or maybe it's just not easy to use. Maybe you want to use your phone for specific tasks. Maybe you don't want to have a smartphone at all. And that allows you to get access to podcasts and internet radio and all the rest. You might just want to have a regular phone. I mean, I go back to this with the Capsys. I mean, the Capsys is a bad example because it's a fully fledged Android phone with buttons.
Yeah.
Maybe the Blind Shell Classic's a better example. Well, this is a feature phone that you can have. I mean, I know there are apps on it. I know they would argue it's a smartphone. It is to an extent, but you can't get every app on there. If you were looking for your favorite banking app, for example, I don't think you'd be able to find it.
Oh, it's a walled garden, right?
It is. And it's a slightly bigger walled garden than what a feature phone might be, right?
Yeah.
Because it's not apps that are determined by the manufacturer. There are some third-party apps that get through. And a number of those apps are what you might call blind-friendly apps. So, blindness-specific apps that get through. And that's good. Be My Eyes, Ira, that kind of thing. But, again, it's that thing of what works best for you. And, there's no lesser smartphone choice. If I use that Blind Shell Classic from time to time in demonstrations, and I talk to people about it. It's a great little phone, and if it had more apps on it, I'd probably use it myself. The Capsys is the one I always tend to drift back to. I've said this before.
You do, yeah.
As I've said to the company here on the show, but also privately, I've said to them, if you just made a pro version of that, and you made it look a little bit less like it just fell straight out of came free with a wheelchair or something. It just has that look with it. It looks medical.
Yeah.
It's like, I kind of want something that's more pro, that's got a bit more of a,
You're too cool for school, aren't you, Stephen Scott? That's what it is. You want a cool device. You want it full of LEDs and,
I liked what Blind Shell did. They brought different colour schemes out, different styles. And I know you don't like all that. You don't care.
Don't care.
But a lot of people do care. They care. And it's not even so much about how it looks to them, but how it looks to other people. Meta Ray-Bans, perfect example of that. Yep. Lots of options out there, but here's an option that fits in with society. We get the technology we need, but fits in.
Oh, we've got to fit in with society, have we, Stephen Scott?
No,
is
we
that
don't
what
have
we
to.
got to do? Fit in with the perceived norms of society. Is that what you want us to do?
Absolutely
Unbelievable.
Not. No. If you listen, I tell you. No, I don't want people to fit in, but if they want to feel like they fit in, they should have the choice to. Equally, and a good example of that is the Victor Reader versus the iPhone. And I know it's not a versus because that's not fair, but if you were saying I wanted to use the Victor Reader for podcasting, no one should turn around and say to you, well, it doesn't look like a smartphone. What are you using that for? That looks like something out of the Arc Ages. But that's what suits the individual. So, I think I'm often wary of this debate when people talk about Braille. There's a real sense of guardedness around it. Like there's nothing you can say except Braille is brilliant. And that's the end of it. Now, as I have said, and I get...
It is brilliant, Stephen Scott.
I get completely misquoted on this all the time. I've had people say to me, I remember we were going to an event. In fact, we're going to an event soon. And someone had said, I can't believe you're bringing Stephen Scott along because he hates Braille.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'm like,
fact.
I don't hate Braille. I don't.
You just said it then. Braille isn't brilliant, Stephen Scott.
That's absolutely not what I said. And actually, if you rewind, which is much easier with a Victor Reader than an iPhone, you can do that. But
it's just like everything else, right? It's like the apps. How often do we say, apps. This certain app is a great addition to your toolbox on your smartphone, right?
Yeah.
Where it is. It's the same with Braille or a screen reader. Look, if you can learn it, absolutely fantastic. It's a bonus. It's a benefit. It's a positive. But it's just another tool in the toolbox.
Yeah, but this next message might tie into this.
Hi there, Double Tap Canada from Harry in York.
Hey, Harry.
Of England.
Oh.
I keep noticing Stephen commenting on his struggles with using touchscreen gestures.
Sorry.
And I would really encourage you to revisit the use of voice control alongside VoiceOver. I've been looking into this in order to help a blind friend who can't use her hands. And they really have come on leaps and bounds. You can now do most things on your iPhone just using your voice if you're using both voice control and VoiceOver together. You can check out Richard Turner's homepage, where he has tremendous range of wonderful resources for the blind. And on that page, he has posted up my updated tutorial for using voice control with VoiceOver, which is free to download.
Oh, wow.
So don't just complain, take action.
Oh, wow. Well, Harry, goodness
VoiceOver
me.
at the end.
Yes, yeah. In a world
So quiet.
far, far away, stood an iPhone with voice control.
Well, I wish you'd given us the URL there, but I will Google, what did you say? Richard Turner blind resources and see what comes up. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that's brilliant. I'm definitely going to check that out. I mean, I must admit, you're the only one I know that's kind of jumped into this whole world of voice control and VoiceOver. What's been your experience, Shaun Preece? Because I know it's on all the time because your phone keeps saying, iPhone no longer listening.
It does, yes. I have voice control on permanently now. It's just so useful. Well, I'll get to that in a second. But, when I was making spaghetti bolognese just the other day, I had my hands full. I had a tea towel on my shoulder and everything. I was proper chefing it. And you can control your phone. I was watching Facebook Watch, of course, and scroll down when I got bored of a video to move to the next one, and go home when I wanted it to shut up. And you can control pretty much anything. I think voice control is fantastic. And there's still a bit of a myth about, you can't use it if you use VoiceOver. And that just simply isn't true. VoiceOver is kind of baked in. There's VoiceOver commands. I will say, a little bit long-winded. For example, moving to the next item is swiping to the right with one finger, as we know. But on voice control, it's VoiceOver, next VoiceOver item or something like that. So it's a bit verbose to say that 10 times to get to the app you want or the message you want in WhatsApp. But you can re-record that. So you simply say, start recording, and then you give the command, VoiceOver, move to next item, and then stop recording, and then it'll say, what's the new name of this command? And I just say, next, or whatever I say. And then from now on, whenever I say next, it will swipe to the next item. So I go through and do another one for, VoiceOver select previous item, and whatever else, VoiceOver move to first item on screen, and whatever the actual commands are, and I record new commands for them.
Wow.
And it works really well. There's one thing, actually, there's two things. Whenever you go into a text field, it is constantly listening. The amount of times I forget to say stop listening when I'm about to enter text, and then every time I move my finger over a letter on the keyboard, because VoiceOver speaks it out, voice control hears it and types it, and I've already typed it. It's confusing. So you've got to remember to turn that off. And also, don't believe there's a way to unlock your phone with voice control. At least I never got it to work previously with iOS 18. I haven't tried it with the new one. I could not enter the PIN code to unlock the phone. So I don't think it's totally touch-free yet, unless anyone knows different.
And you're using it every day.
Every day. Yeah, I use it all the time.
And you've updated to iOS 26.
I have. Yes.
No
I have.
issues?
No issues at all. Still working the same as ever. I haven't looked into if there's anything new in there yet. I will get into that. But yeah, it just works really well.
Wow. That's pretty cool. Yeah, okay, I'm going to dive into this.
Give it a go. Give it a go. And you just say, open Facebook. It's always Facebook with me. Open Facebook or open whatever, and it just goes straight there, opens it up, and then I just say press whatever tab I want at the bottom. And it does that. It's
so you need to know your way around the phone. You need to know your way around the apps, I guess.
You do, yeah. It's a bit of familiarity with each app makes it a lot easier. When I'm watching YouTube videos, for example, I watch Linus Tech Tips a lot, and there's an advert, and it says skippable ad, and then I wait a few seconds, and then a button will appear saying skip ad. So I just say press skip ad. It saves all that time trying to navigate to the video, then find the video control, and then swipe through to find the skip ad, and then double tap.
You know what else saves that problem? You could just get YouTube Premium.
No, apparently it's not available in the UK. I've looked into that. I wish they would take my money, but it's just not available. What a shame.
That sounds absolutely nonsensical to me. Yeah, I think that's a lie.
That's absolutely not true. No, I'm not paying. I'll have an advert and just skip it. Anyway, moving on.
That's very interesting, though. That is very interesting. Thank you, Harry, for that. That's really good to know that that's available. And that resource is available to learn it as well. I'm going to dive into that. There you go. Okay. Got the weekend coming up, so that'll be my weekend. Thank you.
There you go.
Let's move on to Jeff.
Shaun, couldn't you set up a network storage device, NAS, or maybe a server? I don't know the logistics of either of these choices as I've never used them. I back up onto a drive that is external and hanging off a USB port of my desktop computer. I manually copy and paste my work files, which all live in one folder. I have other folders on this drive, such as my music collection ripped from all my CDs. I also keep other recordings on that drive. It just saves space on my SSD on the computer itself. The drive is only the size of a MacBook anyway, so it's easy. I know that I'm supposed to keep an off-site backup, but I haven't done that yet. By the way, I used to use the old-style tape backup machine on my PC many years ago. It never worked when I had a problem, and it met a rather undignified demise. Anger management, anyone? Later, Jeff.
Thanks, Jeff.
Okay. Tape backup. Wow. I don't think I ever used a tape backup, and I'm very old. So, yeah, that sounds like I'm insulting Jeff there. So sorry.
No. I know that when I worked at RNIB at the very beginning when I joined,
they had tape backups.
They used to have tape backups. I never touched them. I didn't deal with them, but I knew they were there.
Zip drives?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that would be before that, wasn't it? That was before.
Yeah.
Tape backup.
Yeah. No, I don't know.
Was it?
Anyway, yes. No, I am using a NAS of sorts as we've gone on and on and on about Tailscale. I do have a external USB hard drive connected to a laptop, which is on 24/7. So basically, that's the same as a NAS. It is a NAS. And I do copy everything onto there. What I was looking for, and other people during the week have answered this as well, was a way to make sure that every laptop that I've got has basically got the same files on it. So no matter which laptop I jump onto, it's not a case of, oh, no, that's on the other one. Do you know what I mean? And I know OneDrive sort of does that to a degree. I've got on the desktops on all my laptops, they're the same. I usually keep all my files on my desktop and then they're shared across the laptop because I'm logged into a Microsoft ID account and OneDrive and it saves them all. It's pretty cool, but I want to take it a bit further than that, like all my downloads in my download folder, all my documents, for example. And there are ways to do that, as people have said. But yeah, I already have a NAS. Thank you. I want to back up my NAS to another NAS to have a backup of my backups.
A lot of the things a lot of those solutions we've had already this week would lend their way to that, I think. So
yeah, exactly. I forgot to mention as well, Robocopy was mentioned as well, writing a batch file, which is fantastic. And by the way, I know I've been going on about AI being terrible, but to create a batch file, AI is fantastic for doing that. Just tell it what you want it to do. Batch is a series of DOS command line commands.
Sorry, I believe, as the man said.
Boring.
Anyway, Robocopy, I'm going to look into that. Thank you.
Batch files. I mean, what is this? 1973?
They're just cool. They're powerful, man. Get with it, Daddy-O.
Oh, yeah. I'll get with it. As I sit down at the weekend to do if I had to do this before or after I learn how to use voice control with VoiceOver, just to plan my weekend.
Yeah, it's okay. Whatever, it's fine.
Let's move on. Bev is up next.
Hi, Stephen and Shaun. Some time ago, I purchased an Olympus DM 720 recorder. It was my understanding that it was blind friendly. I didn't use it for several months as I got really confused in its use. Yesterday, I downloaded the digital manual, and it is certainly not blind friendly. Is there anyone in your audience who knows of a digital manual for such a device? Really enjoy all the discussions each podcast. Bev in Canada.
Now, this is an interesting one because the device that I use, which has got the speech in it, the Olympus model, is a DM 770. But I think there are different model numbers around the world. Mm-hmm. So it could well be a 720 in Canada. Why that is, I don't know. But I know that the 770 was the one I know here in the UK was for sale with the voice guidance. Now, it's also important to say that there are less and less of these going around. And I hate to even suggest to you got to get anything else, Bev, because I'm sure that's the last thing you want to do. It should, I think what you're going to have to do is maybe get some sighted assistants to help you to turn on the voice guidance, because I don't think it's turned on by default. If it is, you would know, because it would start talking to you. But I imagine it's not doing that, and there won't be a shortcut key to turn it on. It'll be in the menu. But you got to get into the menu. That's the problem.
Oh, this is intolerable.
Look, do you know what? It's finished as far as the tech's concerned. As far as Olympus are concerned, they're not doing it anymore. This was the last one. There used to be a few of them, a few in the range, and they kind of moved away from it.
LS14, I believe. LS14. And they weren't cheap either. That was quite expensive, but it was really the only option for quality recording. Mm. And, it's blind friendly. Kind of, some of it was read aloud by the voice. What do they call it? Voice guidance, I believe.
Voice guide, or whatever it was, yeah.
Yeah, but not all of it. So, and a lot of time you're just relying on how many beeps did I do when I press that button. Yeah, so there are better options out there. Even, apps on your smartphone may be a better way to go now, especially with an external recorder, microphone. So,
do you know, I'm noticing a lot of people talk now about the Zoom recorders being used in this way.
Yeah.
They are very high quality recorders, but you could use them in this way because they do have full voice guidance built in. And what's brilliant about these is they arrive with the voice guidance turned on, as was the case with the H2 Essential that I got.
You know what, though? You're right. Why are we saying, I'll chuck this away and buy a new one? Because, firstly, what is inaccessible about the manual, the digital manual? Because, as Stephen said, and there may be a thing of just get sighted assistants or Be My Eyes or someone to read it, or try and pass it through some OCR app if it's an image. But there's every chance that you could learn to use this, but it is going to take some time.
I think it sounds to me like you haven't got the voice guidance on yet, and maybe not understanding the layer of the. Look, if you don't have the voice guidance on, you're not going to understand any of it. So it is going to be totally confusing to you. Once you get that on, I would say you can start navigating around. It's a pretty simple menu system in that regard. It's pretty much you're just moving through menus in the same way you would with any other kind of specialist device with a voice guide on it.
Once you set it, you forget it though, don't you? If you go through those settings, turn on voice guide, and then set the, I need WAV files or MP3 files, depending on how long a recording time you need, then that's kind of it. Then you just need to know the physical buttons for recording and playing.
I've got one in the cupboard. It's an Olympus as well, but it doesn't have voice guidance. But it's one of these ones where it literally has a record and a stop button and a play and then just back and forward. You don't
physical
need
buttons.
But, well, in fairness, so does the DM 770 or the 720, and so do the others. Mm-hmm. But it's that it doesn't have all that menu structure. You don't have to worry about any of that. There's nothing there. Everything visual is actually what you're hearing, right? So you hear the beep to go to the next message. You can delete that. There's an erase button. So it's pretty simple, and it was really cheap. And I have looked, and there's nothing like it anymore. And it clearly is just the market is drying up for them. It's just as simple as that. Or the market's moving towards really high-end ones with AI built in and all of that. They're kind of moving in that direction, which is fine. But again, I was looking again at the Plod AI Note because the new Pro versions come out, and I'm like, I just don't know. I'm just worried about the accessibility of the app. I've not heard good things. So as much as I'd love to, I'm not sure.
I hate to keep going back to, there's an app for that, but in the case of sort of AI live transcribing whilst you're recording, there's quite a few apps, and there's more and more coming onto the market every day.
And if you've got an
That's
iPhone, you know, I'm sure someone will, if I haven't already, developed a shortcut that can do it all. With iOS 26, you can do so much with that now. You can actually much more easily get in. You can record using, you can even record into the Apple Notes app now, which is the new thing that's kind of pretty cool. So you can go in and record straight into that, or a voice memo. Then you can take that voice memo, transcribe it on device. That means it doesn't go to the cloud. And then you can even have that note summarized by Apple Intelligence, all on your phone. You don't have to send it to the cloud.
And if you have an Android phone, I'm sure there's equivalent apps for that as well.
And your data will remain 100% safe. Right, let's move on.
I'm so sorry, Android users. I tried.
I love the Android people. Right, look, stick around. We're going to get into more of your messages next. Double Tap thanks Turtleback Cases for supporting the show and for creating gear with purpose, passion, and lived experience. It all started when founder Brian Eremita designed a case for the original Braille note, inspired by his son's vision loss. That personal connection turned into a mission. Today, Turtleback still crafts high-quality leather cases for note-takers and accessible tech, offering custom fits for the Mantis Q40, Focus 40, Victor Reader Stream 3, Braille eMotion, Blind Shell Classic 3, and many more. Everything is made in the USA, backed by a 90-day satisfaction guarantee and shipped worldwide via FedEx with tracking. Use promo code DT12 for 12% off your order at turtlebacklv.com.
Get in touch with Double Tap. Email feedback at doubletaponair.com. Leave us a voicemail at 1-877-803-4567. And now you can send an audio or video message to us on WhatsApp. That number is 1-613-481-0144.
Okay, let's get back into the feedback then. And Leander's up next.
Hi, Stephen and Shaun. It's Leander. Thanks once again for another wonderful show. Well, they all are. And first of all, the machine you was talking about, what does the raised images, where you can draw on it, and then it does draw on paper, and then it raises the lines. When we had one, it was called a Minolta machine. They called it swell paper or Minolta paper, what you used on it. And for its time, it was absolutely fantastic. When I was at school, they let the TA have it in the photocopying room because there was 30 pupils in a class, so it was hard enough getting all my equipment in without having one of them in there. So they let her have it in the photocopying room for when she was having to make raised images. Also, in response to the guy talking about accessible menus, I always ask the waitress or waiter what is on the menu, and I've never had an issue, luckily, where they've said, oh, we haven't got time to read it or anything like that. Everywhere I've been, I've always been ever so glad to help, which I think is fantastic and, how it should be. Anyway, thanks once again for a wonderful show.
Where does she go to, Leander, when she's holding her phone? I love it. I just love where she wanders off to. I know you've told me you're doing all kinds of stuff as you're working away, doing what you're doing. I just love it. I kind of want to know. I think you should tell us as we're going, okay, I'm going in here and doing this now. I love that.
Minolta?
That sounds... That was a camera, wasn't it? And it was also a
camera,
sweet,
yes.
if I remember rightly. Or was that Mintola? Remember Mintola? They were sweets back in the day when I was a kid.
Must have been in the 60s, before my time.
After your time.
That doesn't ring a bell for me.
Yeah, I think that rings a bell to me. And the swell paper, the Minolta, I think that sounds closer to... Because what's the other one that someone came up with? Tomahawk or something? That's not the
I can't remember now, but none of them. I just must have a totally made up name in my head, probably what I called it myself. But yes, thank you, Leander.
I think it made an interesting smell. It was that because honestly, the smell of the swell paper, the heat that came out of this thing. I mean, it was a Monday morning treat when I would go into my visual impairment unit on a Monday. Yeah,
send me to sleep. Reading a menu in a restaurant. You know what? of all the apps that we have available to us, all the technology, the smart glasses, it's still so much easier just to
ask
the waiter.
I know.
Because she's absolutely right. I mean, how many times is just everyday customers anyway are going to ask about, the menu anyway. So what difference does it make? And it's not like I'm saying read every single item out. It's do me a favor, just read the headings, burgers, grills. So,
Lazy Jaws, as I've called it.
Yeah, skip the salads. I don't need to know that. That's fine.
That's my safe one.
Yes, I've never had an issue with someone saying, "Oh, I'm not going to read that out to you," because you would just leave at that point, wouldn't you, if they're going to be that rude?
Apologies, Leander, but my brain, it tends to drift a little bit like the way you do when you're recording those messages. I was in the shower this morning and I thought of you, Preece.
Yeah, what do you want me to say to that? Just please, I'm horrified. Please move on.
No, see, what happens, because whenever we go, dear listener, to any place, Shaun, and I hope you don't mind me sharing this, but Shaun loves to go in for a shower for the best part of, I mean, look, I don't know, if the water police are listening, they may have something to say on this, but you do like a long shower.
I do. Yes, 2 hours or something. I've got a water meter in my house, all right? And plus, I live with a family of females. So a shower is a beautiful, precious thing to me. If I'm in a hotel, especially if it's got a waterfall or a rainfall shower, I am in there for hours until I just wrinkle up to nothing and dissolve. It's amazing.
I was in the shower and I thought of you because for some reason, actually, was it today? Yeah, it was today. Well, that may have been yesterday, actually, now I think about it. Because
it's important. We know. Please remember.
Well, actually, I think it was yesterday, and that is important. I'll explain why. I know you care, but...
remember where we were, by the way.
I have no idea where we were, so just let's forget it. But, here's the thing. There I am in the shower, and I realized I was enjoying the shower. I was standing with my head up.
Yes.
And the water was pouring on my head, kind of going down the back of my head. And it was so relaxing. And I love a massage. I love going for a massage. I know you've something strange about that.
No, I couldn't possibly have anyone touch my body. No.
Yeah, you get over it, trust me. And they don't care. They really don't. That's their job. They don't care.
They do. They're looking at me and judging.
All right, maybe they do care, but they're not going to tell me.
Terrible physical choices.
I'm paying money. They don't care. Everyone's happy, right? Okay. So it was like having a massage, and it was lovely. And I stood there, and I realized I was probably standing there for like 10 minutes, and I thought, I need to get out of the shower. I was so relaxed. And it's probably the only time I've ever been relaxed in a shower. And so this morning I did it again. And do you know what I noticed? My skin felt better.
It's called clean, Stephen Scott.
I think getting in and out of the shower in less than 5 minutes might not be working the way I think it's working.
Shaun Preece was correct.
He is a hero.
Oh, where's the correct sound effect?
Oh, okay, you're correct as well.
Thank you. Breaking news.
No, you're not getting that one. No, come on. Okay. That's pushing it.
Thank you, Leander.
Even for us, that's pushing it.
I'm so sorry about the shower information.
I think that's useful to know. So there you go. If you're in the shower,
showers are good.
Use as much water as you can, because, of course, that is one way to save the planet. Right, let's move on. And we've got May next.
Hey, guys. This is Noel Romey from
that's
Memphis,
Noel.
Tennessee.
Oh. Well, come back to me.
And I listened to your graphics and the Story of Braille Graphics podcast from Monday in a time of insomnia, which you do. I do that all the time.
Thanks.
And I was intrigued, mainly because I got my degrees in chemical engineering. Oof. And so I did things like organic chemistry, calculus, very complex mathematical things. And we used the POF device, which is picture in a flash. We used it all the time. And so back in early 2000s to 2010, that's really all we had. I had started using little tactile devices to move things around on a simulation screen. So I would create a device with a laser cutter, and it was the size of an icon on a chemical plant simulator. And so I would place them on a particular grid and then use a pen to click the inputs and outputs and kind of connect them together. And so with the Monarch and what it is doing now, coupled with AI, and this is truly a game changer for STEM and for my field, which, of course, I went into IT rather than chemical engineering because they needed help. And sometimes that happens with blind people. We go into accessibility. But I'm just really looking forward to seeing where this goes, because for me, I could, in theory, take a AI and say, hey, describe this particular flowchart or whatever to me. And rather than paying a reader $100 an hour or an engineer that much, do that. And then, in theory, go through with the Monarch and do the navigate around in the diagram or in the simulation. So I think that there's some really cool things that it could do, especially with Monarch having an API now. So we'll be able to hook into that interface and maybe make it work with some of these very scientific CAD type applications. So very cool thing. Thanks for having Chris on, and it's good to listen to your show. It's my first time to make a comment to you. Thanks.
Well, now I feel really bad because, after what I've just said about, standing in the shower for 10 minutes because I've just realized it's quite relaxing. And then listening to Noel and how intelligent he is. I
know.
I feel a little bit stupid right now, to be perfectly honest, but there we go.
Well, take it away and answer all his points there, Stephen Scott.
Listen, I 100% agree with everything you just said, whatever that was. So, I'm with you 100% on this, Noel. I am not a smart person, so I don't know what you're talking about. But I will say it sounds brilliant.
Yes, brilliant. No, but look, being serious for a second, again, we're talking about the workarounds that we use and whatever works for us. You're talking about seeing a tactile icon, amazing, and using that, exactly, whatever you need to do. We've talked about it quite a lot recently about the obstacles, right, that you come across every single day, and you try and find workarounds, and whatever works for you, and it definitely did for you. Wow.
Incredible. I mean, is that... We are good at problem solving. Well, I say we, Noel, are good at problem solving.
Yeah.
Me, I just ask Ira.
We're good at asking people.
Yeah.
If
I was in your job, I would just be having Ira live 24/7 saying, what on earth is going on here? But that sounds very interesting. Okay, let's get to May's message because I skipped one there. So yeah, let's go back and hear May's message.
Hi, Stephen and Shaun.
Yeah.
Dear.
That's the one.
I was going to say Stephen and Scott. Oh, how stupid. I was wondering, I was asking ChatGPT about InnoSearch's number for the UK, but they gave what sounded like a mobile number, and I'm not very sure. So could you give me an idea what the UK number for InnoSearch is? Because I would like to try to use it by phone. Thanks. Bye.
No problem, mate. Yeah, that's interesting. It is actually, you're right, it is a mobile number, and that mobile number is 07727 247 467. So I'll give you that one more time, although I know it's never easy.
Get your pens and paper ready.
Yeah, whatever, podcasting and radio, it's not good for detail like this. 07727 247 467. But if you Google that, if you Google InnoSearch UK number, that will come up right away. So if you are not able to take it down at this moment, then that's when we get it. But yeah, it is a mobile number, which you would think it's going to be like a London number or an 0131 or an 020 or whatever it might be. But yeah, in this case, it's a mobile. Yeah, I've called it myself. I've used it. It's absolutely fine. I've tried it for buying, for testing. Ended up nearly spending a fortune, but yeah, it's great.
Yeah, let us know, mate, how you get on, but give it a try.
Okay, let's go on to our next email.
Hey guys, good day. This is Shane from St. John's. I heard you mention the other day about watching movies. Did I hear Microsoft? Microsoft is not exactly the first place that comes to mind when I think about watching movies.
Nope.
But I will be honest with you all when I say that I'm totally against watching movies, paying for movies from one of these services. myself and others that I know of and online in the past who've had Microsoft accounts for some reason or another, who've had their accounts nuked, maybe a supposed violation of terms of service or whatever. And I've read some crazy stories. And they got their accounts basically blocked or closed. In my case, it was a useless Hotmail account. But I've read cases of people losing thousands of dollars worth of movies and media and video games that they had purchased through Microsoft Store memberships. I think that if you're buying your movies online, seriously, I almost would suggest that you get your head checked, because you're setting yourselves up to lose everything if you run afoul of Mr. Softy, as they say. I think the best way to do media, if you can do it, is hard copies. That's the way I've been doing it. And to be honest with you, I like taking trips to Sweden. So that's just my opinion. Anyway, have a good day. Keep up the great work. Enjoying the show.
Okay.
Sorry, what was the Sweden?
Is that where you can only buy films in Sweden now? I mean, is that where we are with DVDs? You got to go to Sweden to buy them. I mean, look, I like Sweden. It sounds like a nice place to go.
A lovely place. Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, that threw us a little bit.
We need to have our head checked Well, I've been buying stuff on Apple. What is it? TV,
iTunes.
Yes. I don't know what on earth it's called these days. I'll go and immediately check myself in with the doctor.
On there all the time. Shane is absolutely correct, by the way. You don't own any of that digital media.
No, you don't.
Be it music, be it whatever. You don't own. They can take that away, whatever. Snap of the fingers, they can disappear because you don't own it. You're basically, ownership in that case is the license to watch it whenever you want. It's still theirs. So you're absolutely right. The trouble is, we've sort of gone past, how hard is it to get Blu-rays, the DVDs now? And you know what? I remember going through when DVDs were the only way to go, really. I remember going through and trying to find in the tiny print at the back, using a magnifier if it had audio description, because you just didn't know. And it was just a pain. I want the ability to buy and download the MP4 of a movie.
Yeah.
I want to own the physical file. I don't want to stream it. I don't want to have to log into my account to watch it. I just want the digital file copy.
Well, to be fair, that's why I quite like the Apple Films approach, because when you buy a movie, especially if you've got a Mac, I don't think this will be the case on the phone, but on the Mac, you certainly can download the film because that's how it works. The file will appear in your media folder. So you can copy that across if you want, and you could keep it, in a safe place for yourself. There's people who set up Plex servers and things like that. You could put it in there, I guess, I think Plex could play those. But it
is DRM'd, right? It's got digital rights management.
But it's paid for, right? So it's not like it's...
You couldn't send it to someone else, then they could watch it because it's locked to your account. It's got DRM on it. So
I think so. I'd imagine so. Yeah, I don't know. But I mean, I'm not suggesting piracy. I'm saying if I'm saying buy it, but if there are ways you can get that physical file, so you can put it out of the way. Now, of course, that's not to say that down the road they could revoke the rights on that, and then when that file tries to be played, something might not.
It's still not
work. I don't know.
Piracy is always used as the reason why you can't have that in that way. It can't be open. I'm sorry, if you're paying for the money for something, it becomes yours. I totally understand the copyright laws, and I say totally understand. I understand the reason for them being there. But I don't think that consumer rights can be beaten over the head because, you might send it off to someone. Sorry, I've bought this. I can do what I want with it.
And look, if you bought a DVD, the police wouldn't turn up at the front door if you gave it to a friend.
No, exactly.
I mean, that's the thing, right? I mean, if you bought a DVD of a film and you said, hey, do you want to watch this? You give the DVD to your friend. What's the difference? I mean, the difference is putting it on the internet so all your friends and everyone else's friends can enjoy it. That's a different story. Absolutely agree. And maybe that's the problem because it's the ability
to make perfect copies of it. which is the issue. But still, I still think you buy it, you own it.
Final one from Trevor.
Hi, Stephen and Shaun. Some time ago, I purchased an Olympus DM 720 recorder. It was my understanding that it was blind friendly.
Okay, I think we've played that one already. So
I think we have,
Steve. Yep, I'm guessing then we don't have Trevor. I'm going to try one more. This is a lottery.
Just keep pressing buttons.
Yeah, let's just keep pressing them, see what happens.
Yeah.
Hi there, Double Tap Canada.
Hello, Harry.
Harry in
York. We played that one. Okay.
North.
Yep.
This
Keep
one?
going, Stephen.
Couldn't you set up a network
No,
storage
done that one.
device? Hi, Stephen, Shaun, Laura.
No,
Last
I think
week-
it's a forget it. I think we can forget
Hi,
it.
Stephen and Shaun.
No,
It's
we definitely put
Leander.
that one.
Shuffle.
Hi, Stephen.
Yeah, we played them all. That's it. I don't know where Trevor's one's gone, but there you go.
I'm so sorry, Trevor. It
That
wasn't
was a
my
great
fault.
message as well. It was a great message. We will get that on, I promise you.
Well, that's it.
Yeah. But now he's
Now
sitting
we're
here
out
for
of
the next
emails.
6 minutes because that was a 4-minute email we were about to play in there, which I was really looking forward to playing. And I can't even, we could talk about it, but I can't remember the subject of it.
Well, leave
my
it.
brain
We'll
is
save it to
awful.
next time. Can I just ask, Stephen, you just carrying on about the media and ownership, right? You do own a lot of Apple movies, but you also rip your CDs. Do you still buy any physical, media, be it CDs or DVDs or Blu-ray?
No, but I think, well, I'll be honest, that's partly because today's music is absolute garbage.
Oh, come on now. Don't go down that route. There was a time, I was going to say this, there was a time when if you bought a physical CD off Amazon, you also got the digital copy.
That's right.
I think that's a really good idea.
You did it. Well, you remember with Blu-rays, you could buy them and they would say something like there was a digital download code. I never really understood what that meant because I remember when it happened at the time, there was no way to play it. That was the problem. So how do I play this? Yeah, I could play it on my computer, but who's going to do that? Unless you had one of those.
Everyone.
Well, no,
nowadays.
but I mean, no, nowadays, yes. But at the time, I mean, unless you had, remember Windows Media Center?
Oh, I
back in
had
the day?
Windows Media Center with the big remote control,
remote
and the
control.
IR receivers.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was like
trying to
fun
get
times.
MCE, Media Center Edition.
Yep.
Windows. Yeah, trying to get that accessible with the Hopog all-in-wonder TV video graphics card.
Is that how you pronounce that? I always called it Hopage.
Hopog. Well, you were right.
I had no idea how to say it.
From ATI. Those were the days.
Oh,
Totally
God, you're taking me
inaccessible,
back
of
now.
course.
Yeah, the TV tuner. I'm so old that I didn't have one, but I wanted a Mac. No, let me see if I get this right. If I get this right, I'll be impressed. I think it was the Mac Performa. So it was a Macintosh Performa 5500. Now, I had the 5500, right?
Nerd.
But the 6500
Boring.
was space grey by today's colour standards by Apple, or just dark grey back then.
Yeah.
And it had a TV tuner in it. And it was brilliant. And I
Was it
wanted that
brilliant?
one, but it cost like $2,000 back in the day. There was no way you could afford that, but that was one I had. A friend of mine had it, and I was in awe. You could watch his DVDs on there. Because it was the all-in-one, right? It was one of the kind of iMac style, but it was a CRT screen. So it was a big screen with the whole built-in computer. So it was like an all-in-one, which was kind of new back then. That was a
Cutting
new
edge
design.
technology.
Yeah.
I remember getting my Windows Media setup working once with audio description, and I was so amazed, except I could either have just the audio description track or the soundtrack to the actual show I was watching. Not both mixed together. I had to flick between having no show audio, but an audio descriptive track. I was happy, but it didn't work. But yeah, we're a bit spoiled today, aren't we?
Well, we are and we're not. I mean, there's the whole issue of
No,
again,
audio description is great now. It's all fixed.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's right. I forgot. I forgot to toe the line on that one. No, I mean, look, we do have a lot more. And I will say I do tend to go for Apple because if it's got the AD, I know it's going to be there. I know it's in the file. Obviously, I love the Apple TV, so I can easily play the file back. I know I have no issues. I mean, I remember the days. I had a thing, and I think it was a company. It was a Netgear product. I can't remember the name of it, but it was basically a streamer which you could put into you could have it underneath your television. So it was like a set-top box and you could stream files to it. But it was so slow. And of course, the home network and the Wi-Fi back then, it was so slow.
640 by 480.
You could barely watch the film that you had, found the night before. And that was a slight problem, you know? You couldn't play that movie file from your computer to your television because it was just abysmal.
I tell you what I'm always looking for is a way to stream terrestrial TV signals through your internet in your house, through the Wi-Fi, so I can pick it up anywhere through an app or something.
So
that would be amazing.
There was a thing years ago, right? And I remember it, and I thought it was a brilliant idea. It did not catch on because the mainstream didn't like it. And in the UK, they had a product for Sky. Sky TV had this thing called the Sky Gnome. And what the Sky Gnome was a wireless receiver for your Sky TV box. And I remember when we got hands-on with this the first time, I thought, this is brilliant for blind people, because it was like TV, but via the radio. So you had this tiny little box. It was like a little pyramid, and you could take it around the house. Audio only. And you had buttons on it, so you could put in the channel number, 101 for the BBC One or whatever. You could put the channel number in, and then it would just switch to that channel. It would tell you on the little screen what you were watching, what the TV show was, and what channel you were watching. But of course, we didn't care about that.
Ableist.
But the thing was, you could listen to anywhere in the house. You could take it to the baths.
Amazing.
It was a brilliant idea, and it never, ever caught on. And
you used to have those wooden boxes that used to just receive the TV audio signal.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it looked like toasters.
Oh, let's go back in time.
Oh, wasn't it better back then? Retro was brilliant. Oh, rubbish now. I mean, you can't get a description. You can't just say to your Amazon Echo, play BBC One with audio description, or CBC or cool? NBC or whatever else. You can't do that. You just can't do it. Oh,
we'll get emails now saying you can. There's this skill. Please do. Well, I want to know.
Yeah, please do let us know. TV broadcasters beware. We're coming for you. Okay, that's it from us today. We'll catch you tomorrow. Bye, Shaun.
Bye-bye.